A key feature of the Keboola platform is transformations. This is where you process the data you receive from your data sources. Currently, you can build transformations using SQL, Python, R, or dbt. Since Keboola supports multiple backends such as Snowflake, BigQuery, and others, the transformation process may vary depending on the specific backend. You can always find more detailed information on these differences in our documentation at help.keboola.com. Each transformation runs in a separate container, which means you need to specify the input and output tables. This setup defines which tables from storage will be loaded into the container and which tables will be sent back to storage once the transformation is complete. After specifying the input tables, you can load a workspace and begin developing your transformation. Transformations in Keboola also allow you to parameterize them using variables. If you have reusable code, you can take advantage of the shared code feature within the transformation. Additionally, each job comes with extensive logging, and you have the option to customize the backend size based on the type of transformation you're running. Let's see it in Keboola. Let's create a new transformation. First, look at the available backend options and select Snowflake since you're working with SQL. Next, give the transformation a name and add a description. Descriptions, which are supported across various parts of Keboola, such as storage, connectors, and transformations, can also use Markdown, making it a great way to document your project. Now let's configure the transformation using input mapping. Let's start by adding a table from storage. Keep in mind that for a table to appear as available for input mapping, it must already be loaded into storage. Several options are available to narrow down the data you need. You can choose to load specific columns or create a custom data filter within the input mapping. Repeat this process for the other data sets required for this transformation. You can also use the multi-select option to set up the input mapping for multiple tables at once, making it quicker and more efficient to configure several data sets in one go. Once you have your inputs, write the SQL query. To do this, click New Code block, give it a name, and then click Add New Code to start writing the SQL statements. After adding the code, don't forget to click the Save button. A few things to keep in mind. The code block can be as long as needed. There's no real limit to the number of statements. However, it's much clearer to separate your code into multiple blocks for better organization. Code blocks are executed in the exact order they appear, so arrange them accordingly. Once the SQL code is ready, the last thing you need to do is configure output mapping, which defines the tables that will be sent back to storage. Click the Output button and select the tables you want to export. You must specify the table name used in the Create Table statement. Choose the storage bucket or create a new one if needed. And you can either copy the table name directly or save the data as something entirely different. If your table has a unique column, enter it in the primary key section. Confirm the setting using the button Add Output. And finally, click Run. The job will start and your transformation will create a new table in storage. Detailed logging is available for each job, providing insights such as how long it took to load the tables, which is very useful for debugging and optimizing your transformation. One more feature you should know about is the Versions section in the Transformation UI. This allows you to track all changes made to a transformation, including the author of each change. You can even compare the configuration before and after changes by clicking on the two arrow symbol, which highlights the differences. If needed, you can easily restore any previous version. This is extremely helpful for debugging. In some transformations, you can adjust the backend size based on the complexity of the task. Keep in mind, increasing the backend size will result in higher credit usage. You can also parameterize transformations using variables. For example, let's say you only want to filter closed-won opportunities. Create a variable called stage name and assign it the value closed 1. Then, use this variable in the where clause of your SQL code. In the transformation, the variable is represented using the mustache syntax. When you check the job log, you'll see the actual query that was executed with the variable value in place. Excited to learn more? Then visit academy.keboola.com and dive into the full course to become a Keboola expert.